Hey guys, we're going to have a look at the G position now, and look, if you thought the C position was a struggle to wrap your fingers around, G just becomes flat out impossible. I mean, you could stretch it, but you're never going to pull this off quickly in a song. So I'll show you what I mean. So we've got our G chord, right? Fantastic. Now you would need to bar all of these 3 strings here and then still manage to get your fingers up around there. And you can do it, but I'm going to move right up the neck, okay? Otherwise it's just not even thinkable. So our bar finger is going to need to be there, and oh, I feel like I'm breaking my wrist. Oh. As I said, possible. Uncomfortable though. So what we're going to do is chop this one up a bit. All right. Now, looking at your G, all right, we've got this side. Up the top, your bassy end, and it's actually great to play with. So 1, 3, 5. What we can do is move that along, say, to the A, and just keep our first finger back here on the 2nd fret, and you've got a quite easy, okay? Very doable. So you've sort of split your chord in half. You can even hit a few of those if you really want to, but then dropping back to your minor. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea. There's one half of your chord. Now the other half can be done down here. So what I'm now doing is barring across that 2nd fret and putting my little finger down. Alright, this is great if you've got someone playing bass, okay, or a 2nd guitar, and you can actually just use these to keep that very high treble and a really nice sound and moving them along. Okay, so there we are. We've split our bar chord up in 2. Now, with this as well, this is one that I use a lot. We've got our 1, 3, 5. Now, what happens when I move this up with the open note? That 5th has become a 4th. So I've got a 4th now. Alright, then I've moved up again. So I've also, we'll go up to C. Alright, and what's going on there? So if you've got your 4th, you've gone back to a 3rd, and a 2nd. Back to a root. So you can actually use this a little bit with some open notes as well. So you can you start to see, oh yeah, I can actually play around between my bar chords and my opens. You've got to be a bit clever about it, but that's when you're doing your songwriting, sit there, muck around until you find something, and that's where you're going to come up with some really cool, original little riffs. All right, so a lot of fun. Now, we can also play around with that on our lower strings as well, but because we're barring that, it's less doable. You could muck around with it, but I tend to just use it on the top, on the top 3 strings. So low end of the guitar. Now, what we do on the bottom though is some really cool mucking around, and it's quite easy to... Alright, if you remember, that note is the original G, so say if I'm going for an A, and I've got my chord there, drop back, there is your A major 7th. Incredibly easy and sounds great, and especially if you get someone playing that bass line, okay, and just in this particular position you can throw in that open note as well. Okay, awesome, hey? Now, because we're barring this as well, you can start to change things up a little bit. I'm going, all right, well, I'm going to go with, let's pick, go with something we don't always do. Let's go with a C minor. All right, so our chord shape, if we're doing a C minor, will be this, sorry, C major. Then we would have to think, geez, where's that third? Okay, and normally we've got this one, okay, it's here. So with that little chord, we want to drop this one back. So you can actually do a slight tuck here, or chop it out altogether, and you've got yourself a really cool small chord. So we're dropping it right down to the 3 strings on the bottom there, and that's your root note. So when you're going back on this, 7th, flat 7th, 6th. Now, probably just played around with some 6ths. So what you've got there is an epic little minor 6th chord. So off-putting, such a really cool tweak. So I'll leave that one there, and we'll see you next time.